Yo guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do the double jump mechanic that I showcased in a video that I made a while back. So basically, all you're going to need to do is take this orb. You could use any orb. For some of them, I think for the one that I used in the video, I'm pretty sure I used a, uh, a yellow orb. But you can use any orb. You can even use like these. I don't know like what you would use for that, but yeah, you could do that. So anyway, you take this and you take a toggle orb. Ideally, you're gonna want like an alpha trigger on one. And basically, all that you do is you're gonna have these on group 1 and 2, and you're gonna have them follow the player for pretty much however long you want. I mean, so you have these follow the player. You're gonna want to make these multi-activate as well. So take this, allow multi-activate. Take this, allow multi-activate. And basically, the toggle trigger. How this works is basically, oh yeah, also you're going to want to take a, this is completely unprepared by the way, I just kind of started to make this because I got a comment from somebody who wanted to know how to do this. You also need a collision block. I believe it has to be dynamic, by the way. And set this to the group that everything is following the player on, right? So all of these things, oopsie, all of these things will be directly on top of the player, right? So as it stands now, you should be able to fly infinitely, but we don't want to fly infinitely. We just want to have one jump. All we want to have is we want to have it so that you can only jump once in midair until you hit the ground again, right? And that's a little bit more complex than it's probably actually not that hard to do, or not as hard as you think. So all we do is, so for your entire level, you need collision blocks that line the ground. Otherwise, it's not going to work, right? So set this to block ID 2. I found the most success by sticking up these collision blocks like 2 mini steps off the ground. I believe that. Oh yeah, and by the way, you can't keep placing them. So what I do is I generally just copy and paste them. Oopsie. I just copy and paste these across the ground. And you copy and paste these you have to do this for every single ground that you can touch in the level, or that the player is supposed to touch, right? And so basically all this is doing is so like, say for example, if I had like a little floor here, I would need to move these up to here, right? So that the player, when the player touches them, this is just detecting, ground collision, right? So whenever the player is off the ground, then basically this orb is going to activate, right? So we just set this to group 3, and we just do that. So we take a collision trigger, and so when block A collides with block block B, then and we have trigger on exit, then we activate group 3, right? And then we also need a toggle trigger that deactivates group 3. So now, if we set this to uninvisible so that we can actually see what's going on, if we just make this, or better yet, let's just copy paste this. So you'll notice that, hold on. Oops, shit, 1 second. That's weird, hold on. I don't know why this is not working. So now you can see that whenever, and then we need to have a collision trigger that disables when you're touching the ground. So now, whenever you're touching the ground, and it would be easier if I showed you with flat ground here. whenever we touch the ground, you can see that the orb, and you see that it breaks whenever I am touching ground that does not have collision blocks on it. So you need to have these collision blocks always. And this, remember, make sure that this one that follows the player is dynamic. All right, so I think I actually already did it, but this toggle trigger that also follows the player needs to deactivate group 3. So basically what happens is that we have the double jump, right? So I can click, after I use my double jump, I could click all I want. You can hear me clicking. I can click all I want, but it's not going to work, right? And sometimes it gets desynced a little bit. You can actually, if you can scale these up so that, or actually no, you can't scale the collision. You can scale the jump, the orb, so that it doesn't like desync that bad. But I mean, it might desync if the player does something weird, but I don't know how to fix that. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I will leave this, oopsie. I will leave, this level here in the description, so, or the ID to this level in the description, so you can actually see, like, everything that's going on. And yeah, so that's how you do it. I just had somebody who, you know, wanted to know. So yeah, that's how you do this double jump thing. I think it's pretty cool. I don't really know like what you could use it for, because it's kind of weird, because like I feel like the only way that you would be able to really use this is if like you have like a level that you can go with multiple paths. Otherwise, you know, why not just put an orb? But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. And yeah.